Something strange in your neighborhood. Who are you gonna call? Hopefully not us, even though today we will be talking about supernatural stuff on Off Topic. So, let's start off with a very basic question. Do you believe in the supernatural?
No.
The fuck you mean?
Fuck you mean, nuh-uh?
Same brain cell. That's gonna be
I
the
need not explain further.
That's gonna be the second episode in a row that opens with somebody saying something and then somebody swearing at somebody else. Because
The fuck you mean?
last time Noah jumped in and goes, "I'm gonna say a slur."
Hey, what now?
He didn't end up actually saying anything, but thank God. But I was like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, we'd lose our monetization. No, that
We
I
have
would,
monetization?
no, we do not.
don't.
But I would lose all of, that's the joke, but I would lose all of my credibility online. Not that there's much there.
I mean,
I
there's
was gonna
two
say,
I
do you
can say
have
because
that?
I technically am them.
I've got, what, 23 subscribers? Something like that?
Oh no,
No, you have
23 people will be
24.
disappointed in you.
Wait, that's not mathing.
I'm, like, literally famous.
Guys, I think we're taking the title of the podcast a little too seriously. We didn't even start talking about the supernatural, and we're already off topic.
We're professionals at
Well,
this.
we answer my question then.
It's kind of supernatural how good we are at that. Well,
Hardy
There's
har
a-
har.
There's a reason I built this.
Personally,
Go ahead, Cameron.
I do believe in the supernatural personally. Especially because I've had experiences with it.
Yes, I do and have as well.
Does that make it my turn?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, all right, okay. Yeah, I guess in a sense, but like not what normal people normally typically associate with the supernatural. Because as I've stated before, I am a Christian, so I come from that perspective. So I think there are supernatural things that happen, but not necessarily like in the regular sense of supernatural, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I also kind of come from a similar boat because I have like a Christian background and have had a Christian upbringing. So I was kind of a little bit excited about this episode because it's going to be interesting to see kind of the differing views that each of us have because I think that all four of us have slightly different views on this specific topic, which is going to make it very interesting, I
A little
believe.
spicy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little
'cause
spicy.
we have two more one religion people. I'm like poly-religion, I guess, would be technical wording for it. And I don't know what Cosmo is, atheist or something?
I'm a nerd.
He's a nerd. He doesn't like
He's
to
a
think
My
nerd.
about it.
religion, my religion is nerd.
Yeah, but as I was saying, like I've got a Christian background and like believe in God and Jesus and all that stuff. But at the same time, I've had experiences with the supernatural, so it's like I kind of have like a mixed belief system when it comes to supernatural stuff.
Yeah, I believe in a lot of things, so the supernatural is one of them. And I've had experiences with them when I was younger and when I'm older. It can be cool sometimes, but other times it's not very nice.
No.
Very creepy. I guess we could go over experiences we have had, those of us who have had them.
Yeah.
I think my first, like, super solid experience was when I was younger in an old farmhouse that we lived in, farmhouse turned house. And one night when I had left to get up, go to the bathroom, all that, I saw a dark, pitch black shadowy shape that had like a definite shape of what I now think is either a badger or a wolverine. pitch black, kind of like a spirit of sorts. It saw me, it had crept out of a crack in my sister's door, looked at me, vanished. Like, ran a little bit and then vanished into thin air. That was my first, like, super solid experience.
Yeah. Let's see, my first. It's a little bit difficult to pin stuff down, especially since like I've been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, so it's difficult to tell. This is something I've kind of been struggling with a little bit more recently, has been like determining what is or isn't reality, and just kind of being like,
Mhm,
I believe for the longest time that this was supernatural occurrences, but what if it's just hallucinations and delusions? But
mhm,
for the purpose of this episode, I will treat it as though they were all supernatural occurrences, and that's kind of the way that I like to think about them anyway, because it puts me the most at ease. Um,
mhm,
so the very first occurrence I had was just um, I was in the basement doing something at my old house, and I looked over by the way that it was built, like the whole basement was kind of built around like the boiler, and there was kind of like a wall there. And I looked, and over in the corner there was something standing there watching me. Unlike yours, it was not animal-like; it was much more humanoid. Um, but there was
mhm.
very clearly something standing there watching me, and little me, for some reason, didn't register that as a threat. So I just went ahead and went back upstairs and went about my day.
Sees another naturally thing and just says, "All right, cool." Doesn't even tell anyone. Just like, we're just gonna roll with it.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about basements, but they're. I used. It's like I feel like everyone was afraid of basements as a kid. Well, maybe not everyone, but
There's
like a
something in the
lot.
basement that just like,
And attics.
I don't know.
Basements and attics. It's the same. It's the same
It's like,
like same kind of reasoning behind why people are just naturally afraid of the dark. Like as you
Mhm.
grow older, you kind of learn that there isn't like the dark isn't as dangerous as it seems, but especially when you're younger, it's like everybody has that baseline fear of the dark. And I think that kind of comes from the unknown, but I think that that
mhm.
kind of darkness extends into that darkness and kind of like not just the unknown, but like evil that kind of like uh
I heard unknown and just thought Pokemon immediately.
uh the unknown and that kind of that
I
theory
mean,
that
they are
just
kind of supernatural.
yeah um and that theory that like evil comes from the dark um and like that's rooted in the way that a person's mind works and just kind of extending that into like um a specific place, specifically like a basement or an attic where it's darker or more ominous or foreboding.
Mhm. I feel like there's an instinct in humans when we recognize something isn't quite fully natural. Usually, it represents itself in like stuff that also appears like in normal functions, such as goosebumps, shuddering. For me, chills down the back and a full body shudder whenever I have a supernatural experience.
Oh, I get that too. Not necessarily the chills down the back quite as much, but that like, and I don't, I wouldn't connect mine to specifically the supernatural, but I do get like that thing where like
Mhm.
it starts at the top and just kind of builds its way down, and just my
Yeah.
entire body shakes.
Like, if I
Yeah, I
get
have that
both of them
happen
at
where I just have
once
like an
for me,
uncomfortable thought.
usually that's always a supernatural experience for me. One that happens if both happen at once. And
Yeah,
like,
Oh,
it kind of feels like someone's walking on your grave in a sense.
yeah,
I've
that
never.
is where that comes from.
Either that's never happened to me, or it happened to me and I just forgot because I didn't really think much of
Or maybe you're just boring, Cosmo. Maybe you're just
it.
boring.
Yeah.
So boring and
I.
basic.
Yeah, no, I've had
Okay.
the body shake thing, but I don't know what exactly triggers it. I just know typically it's usually I have like some sort of weird thought. I'm like, ooh, and then I just
Yeah.
like ooh, like shake it out or something. I feel like that one feels like specifically some sort of brain chemical because it usually like it's not something I can control. So it just feels like there's something that happens that suddenly sends a trigger that your body has to like. That's a very scientific term.
I see. I see.
Yes, we only use the highest vocabulary here.
Yeah. I've also had like full body shakes. Like, there have been a couple of occasions on which I would say I've been like partially possessed, where I've kind of lost control of what I'm doing and like started especially lashing out and like full body like shakes and like thrashing around is definitely something that has happened to me.
Mm. Supernatural. Supernatural. What else is supernatural?
There's a TV show
Um,
called that, isn't it?
well,
Yeah, there is.
God damn it! I've been trying to avoid that TV show for people talking about that on here.
I just had to make the joke at some point.
It's
Never
funny
I've
watched
never
because
it.
heard
I
of it.
just know of it.
I haven't seen it either, but like every time Cam has mentioned doing a topic about the supernatural, which has been on 2 or 3 occasions, it's been not the show, very
What's wrong
specifically.
with the show?
I know, that's what I'm wondering
It's
now.
so I just like to avoid media that might give like a bias because the show does have different representations of certain things. And it's not just supernatural in it, like the name, it's also mythical beings.
Well, everything's
They have like
biased at some
demons
point.
and unicorns for fuck's sake.
I mean,
I don't
demons
know.
are supernatural, and I would argue that unicorns are to an extent.
I mean, they're not natural.
Well,
They're
'cause
super.
They're more
They've ascend.
folklorian and mythical.
What's the definition of supernatural? They're not natural, right?
Well,
it's like beyond.
More like beyond natural, like they're
I'd say a
natural,
unicorn
but
is
they're
beyond
beyond that
nature.
too.
A unicorn is one horn beyond natural.
And also magical as shit.
I
And depending
guess.
on what kind it is, like what hail it's
There's,
from, some unicorns are extremely hostile and will impale their enemies on their horns to drink their blood.
that's a Terraria moment.
what do you mean a
You did
Terraria
not just
moment?
mention Terraria.
Terraria unicorns like kill you or something.
Yeah,
I
they
haven't played
do.
the game that much.
They do mass murder you. I've seen the Moon Lord, so I actually know about unicorns a bit. They do tend to mass murder you,
That's
but they're not
delightful.
good at it. Let's see. Someone I know does have like their family does have like psychics and such in it. Like, and not like the bend of spork or foon with your mind psychic, like or the ghost seeing type.
Yeah, able to
And
see
she
What
has
about the
ghosts and
had
detective type?
spirits.
You
like
mean like
dreams where ghosts talked to
telefuture?
her or talked with ghosts, seen ghosts.
That's
Something like that has
medium.
happened before. Personally, it's rarely human ghosts I get to see or meet. Usually I meet like animal spirits and monster spirits and stuff like that. I get to notice. And I'm pretty sure once or twice a demon, because there's no way that thing was a normal spirit.
Yeah, I have had I don't think I've had any interactions with human ghosts, but like spirits of like just general spirits I've had interactions with neutral spirits, good spirits, and evil spirits such as like demons and stuff. And there's actually a term for most of these spirits that I've found fits very well, and it is demon, but it's spelled with an A. It's
Oh,
DAE.
daemon?
Yeah, it's still pronounced demon.
Demon,
Um,
Crazy.
but it's spelled daemon.
yeah, so
Such
it's
a
a
Daemon?
creative name.
it's
Hey, daemon.
they're seen as guiding spirits or an attendant
Mhm,
spirit. They're
yeah.
considered intermediate powers between a god and a human being. And they're just kind of like they're more neutral, but there are like evil ones and there are good ones, which is the experience
Yeah.
that I have had. And I found it very
Oh,
like um not reassuring, but like confiding that it's like
Mhm.
yes, this is something that you are actually experiencing because I found like done research and the research backs up yes, this is what's happening.
Yeah. And technically, I've not had full on sleep paralysis, but there has been times where I've woken up and not been able to move for like a short period of time. But it's too short to be considered sleep paralysis.
Yeah,
But that usually happens after a dream that something weird, not quite right happens, usually involving me.
I'd continue down the path of talking about dreams, but that was last time.
Which I
I
wasn't here for, so.
I believe that dreams are tied
Fair.
very closely to the spirit realm. Like
I
maybe
mean,
not
that's how they
maybe
affect you oftenly. It's
yeah.
how they can communicate more easily. Which is also why, like, some superstitious people, to keep away bad dreams or bad spirits that affect your dreams into nightmares, or like literal nightmares, as in the monster. Some people have different things that protect you. Like the Egyptian people had a special headdress to keep your spirit anchored to you, while indigenous people of North America have things such as
Dream
I'm
catchers
so
and
bad with the
stuff.
name of it. Yeah, that dream catchers.
Yeah.
I actually have a small one and a slightly larger one myself, and they've actually genuinely helped me. I've had less nightmares ever since I've gotten them and hung them above my bed.
Hmm.
It's quite
I wonder
strange.
how much of that is a placebo.
I
Oh, like you think it's happening and that
Yeah,
therefore your body makes it happen?
yeah,
I don't know how much control you physically have over dreams though.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't really
a
lucid
good
dream.
bit though. Like dreams are, as we discussed a whole lot about them last week. But like, while we don't understand fully what's going on, and while I think they are probably connected a lot to like what's going on inside of us,
I think
I
they were very
think there is a
subconscious.
lot to be said for yeah. Like I've had a number of dreams that you look at and you're like, that makes no sense whatsoever. And then you start to look into things, and I'm not saying like dream interpretation or anything, but like I've been able to look at dreams and be like, oh yeah, that's why I had this really weirdly specific thing happen because I had just thought about that the night before when I was thinking on some sort of like wild thought tangent and then
Mhm.
mentioned this one thing and then it appears in the dream. So there's
Yeah,
definite like control that we have, our brains have, even if we're not actively controlling the dreams. Like there's a
yeah.
logic behind what happens. So I think a lot of the effects could be if you convince yourself this isn't going to happen, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
A weird thing I can do, which I cannot lucid dream for the life of me, but given like a little bit, I can force myself awake if I don't like what's happening. And often in my dreams, there's one or two things that always identify I'm about to have a nightmare. One of them, even though I love dogs, if I see a dog in my dream and I just have a bad sense or I just know something's not right, that's why I force myself awake. Because for some reason, in dreams, canine creatures have always been like leading to nightmares,
Hmm.
even though I love dogs. And there's one other thing that I can never remember except right after the dream. But when I see it in the dream, I recognize it. That's something that causes or is making me have nightmares, and I wake up. I force myself awake. And I can't help but feel like maybe something is messing with me. And that is a sign that there is something there.
Yeah.
I've also had like one of my weirdest and most up close supernatural experiences was in my room. My room actually does have like a few spirits. Some come and go. Some have left, unfortunately. But there was one that I accidentally was just listening to a song and I reached out and I think I accidentally choked it.
Oh.
Like in the sense where I put my hands like in, you know how Lego hands are shaped? Kind of like that shape around a space. And instead of just feeling like air, it felt semi-solid.
Yeah.
How does one track spirits?
Spirits, depending on what you believe and how you prefer to do your methods, a lot of people use like phasmophobia is actually semi-realistic towards what people use in real life. If you
Yeah.
watch Sam and Kobe, awesome channel, go check it out if you like ghosts and shit. They use things like a bit of EMF, they use devices that they can ask questions and the ghost can interact with them, whether it's motion sensing, or like lights, little flashlights that they can turn on and off, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stranger Things stuff.
And of course, then there's psychics or mediums, as they're more commonly known. And Sam and Kobe have also invited a medium or two before onto the show. One of their friends is a medium, and some people do have medium-like properties, like my friend does. I mentioned it wasn't psychics; I meant to say medium, but I get the two mixed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I've had such like vivid experiences occasionally, like either out of the corner of my eye, something that I know I've seen, I'm sure I saw it, I'm not imagining things, and I know what I saw. Like whether I'm entering a place and something quickly hides, or out of the corner of my eye see outside, which this one was probably the demon I was talking about, not like Damon, but demon. Like, that thing could not have been normal, and ironically, it was canine like. It was similar to a greyhound, except make it the tall as a human, and give it lots of eyes and some slightly weird psychedelic colors.
Yeah.
I noticed some of that might sound
Okay,
like I'm just having a bad trip, but the thing is, I don't do drugs at all.
so I have a question,
Yeah?
Yes.
and before I pose this, I just want to toss it out there. I'm not trying to be like antagonistic or anything. I'm not trying to
Mhm.
belittle beliefs. Like that's I don't want to come across that way. I'm just genuinely like trying to further the conversation and try to better understand where you're coming from. Um, so in these situations, when you're like seeing these things out of the corner of your eyes, or see something and then it disappears, like what to you differentiates those from just like weird things? Because like everyone has experienced
Um,
things where they see something out of the corner of their eye and they're like, "What the heck was that?" Okay, and they like move on. So like, is there something that differentiates these experiences? Like for example, the animal shaped thing that came out of your sister's door. Was there anything that like indicated to you? Is it just like yeah, I guess I'm basically just asking like what triggers the
what
thing of oh this was supernatural as opposed to I just saw trick of the eyes, so trick of the light type thing.
so as I mentioned before, the full body shutter plus the chills down my back as if someone's walking
Mm,
on my grave is usually a sign that happens if I am sure it's something supernatural, like I've noticed it, and that happens as I'm trying to think about it. And then I think about it thoroughly, and I also double check I didn't see an animal or something just running by. But there are
Yeah.
times that, like, I just get a deep down feeling occasionally that I know that that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
That's not
mhm,
normal.
It's really it comes down to a gut feeling of knowing
Mhm.
that just you can tell that it's supernatural. There's something a little bit off about it. It's you can tell it's not from
Mhm.
this world. Just by looking at it, and there's no real specific physical feature that determines that, but like you can just
mhm.
like sixth sense just kind of tell like it's not from this world.
Although sometimes also there's just things that don't fit to a normal thing. Like, as I said, the weird human tall, multi-eyed, slightly psychedelic color splashes on it. Greyhound thing I saw. That thing wasn't normal. But also just like a spot of pitch black during the night. Like, I have pretty good night vision because I have blue eyes. I can see well at night, and it was a full moon night. There was no shadows in that spot. There wasn't like any heavy shadows in that spot. There never is. And then suddenly there's a pitch black shadow shape in the gray that's moving as a definite shape. and then I get the full body shudder and chills.
What if? Yeah, I don't know.
And
What if it
also
was
that
something else?
house was old and used to be a barn. Like,
What if
that thing is way older than my parents.
the
Well,
chills down the back just seem like a common just a fear reaction?
that's
I don't understand
like
what's
I'm
different.
sure you can. I understand what you guys are saying about the like just the sense of understanding something's not right because I understand certain things happen like this is not natural. But I do feel like once sometimes like do we convince like we talked about earlier with the dreams, is it possible that
Mhm.
occasionally, not for like all of these I'm saying, but do you think it's possible that for some of these they would just be like natural, you see something, it feels unnatural, is unnatural, whatever, and then that just like scares the mind a little and that starts to trigger like the fight or flight sight sense reactions that do all
Mhm.
the things, because to me that's
And
what would probably
then
happen. Like I wouldn't because of my own beliefs and everything where I come from, I would just get the chills and be like, "Oh, that was spooky," and then like get the heck out of there because I'm not messing around with any animals or like strangers in the dark. I'm not like
Yeah.
stupid spirits or physical, whatever. Not my area of expertise. Gone. But like, yeah, I guess.
Unfortunately, I'm very dumb. I would probably be that white person in the horror movies to die first because I normally try and confirm it, try and
At
make
least
sure
you're
I'm
like
not just
aware of it.
imagining shit. And sometimes I realize, oh, this is something I imagined. That happens occasionally. But there's other times
Okay,
where
so
I'm no like something was wrong here. This
mhm.
thing felt wrong and there's nothing pointing away from it.
well,
Do you actually?
if it's occasionally something you imagine, then how do you know which ones are not imagined and which ones are?
Well, okay, so that was gonna be kind of my question. Do you have any examples of ones that you like experienced and then went, okay, no, I was imagining that, just so we can kind of like get an idea for what the
Yeah.
differences are for you?
One time I thought I saw a huge flash of something white and fuzzy moving by this window. I looked out there. I There was no animals there, but again, I did not feel that full body shudder and the chills, and the fact that I checked and I just looked at that spot, and my gut feeling said that was just you imagining things, probably from moving too fast. Like my body knows when to reassure me and when to warn me when something's up. I
Yeah,
do rely on my instincts and gut feeling quite
Hmm.
a bit. So it's
Okay.
decently developed, and it often doesn't lead me astray and lets me know when something's right or not.
But what's the difference if it's supernatural or not?
Um, I kind of already explained that personally.
I mean,
Like,
the difference between it being so you're asking the difference between it being imagined or being supernatural?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, that line is very fuzzy, again, because of my disorder. So
Hmm.
it's a very fuzzy line. It gets blurred all of the time. But I think that truly it doesn't actually matter. That's kind of like the conclusion I've come to. Like, what you believe is what you are going to believe. So, and it doesn't
mhm.
really matter that much whether or not it actually was, and it's more just what you believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard not to because there's some things that just can't be explained that, something's not right here. And unfortunately, like, we don't have solid evidence that any of this is real. No one
Hmm.
does. But there's also no evidence denying its existence. So it's at a standstill, a semi-paradox, if you will, of does it exist or does it not? It's Schrodinger's cat, but on a worldwide supernatural scale.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then to kind of get into my perspective a little, it's extra hard because coming from Christianity, we definitely do believe in things that are supernatural. Because obviously, our core founding beliefs are in like a God who lives outside of our like existence. And then there's also like the whole. I haven't gotten into it too deeply, so I don't want to say I'm like an expert or anything on the Christian viewpoint here. But there is lots of beliefs in demonic warfare and like angels and like this other dimension of beings at war for us. Um, so it gets very tricky there because then it's like I do believe that supernatural things can occur, and I do believe that a lot of the experiences people might have felt and what has led to like the ideas of ghosts and spirits comes from things that are real. But then there's also a lot of times where I do have like doubts and stuff. So generally, I would say I'm more critical and like more of a doubter.
Mhm.
But then there's also like I walk this thin line of I believe it exists and I believe it's very much a real thing. It's just I don't have any real sense of what is or isn't. I don't have like a thing that gives me a warning of, yep, that was a thing that happened. So
Yeah.
it's like it's hard for me to figure that kind of stuff out too.
I don't
Yeah.
really think it matters that much. I mean, if you guys believe it, doesn't really affect anything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What are some cool, like, interesting like, I don't know, the first thing that comes to mind is SCPs.
That's not technically supernaturals.
I
Like
guess,
No.
but
sci-fi
I
fiction.
think we
what
could talk
about
about that when we do a different episode. I think you had walked away from your computer when we had said this. We had originally been discussing doing supernatural and cryptids. I think we're gonna save.
Oh,
I think we're
okay.
gonna. I think we're gonna. Well, I think we're gonna save cryptids and creepypastas for another episode because I think we could easily get an hour out of cryptids and creepypastas.
Okay, I thought we were doing that now.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. So
No,
it's
Nope.
just the supernatural.
we're just talking about the supernatural for today.
Okay.
Unless we run out of stuff to talk about, and then we can start dipping into creepypastas and/or cryptids.
Well, what other supernatural things exist?
Hmm. Like
Uh,
I could go over different types of ghosts, demons, variety of things.
I think something that's interesting is the different ways that spirits are kind of portrayed across different cultures. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like, you have the Christian culture, which is mostly just angel, it kind of just shows up as angels and demons. And then you have, but I feel like it's kind of missing, like, that third aspect of, like, a neutral spirit, which I do believe
Yeah.
exists. Um, and then there are, like, other. I don't have a good, like, ground point for a good example of something else, but like um there are other like um cultures that have different examples of things like demons spelled with an A is actually older than the word demon itself, and it comes from
Mm-hmm.
Greek, I think. Comes from
That sounds
Greek.
because the AE is a very Greek spelling.
Yeah.
That sounds Greek.
Yeah, ancient Greek. And it was considered a lesser deity or a guiding spirit. Um, so it's kind of like it's not an angel or a demon, it's its own thing. And that kind of portrays that neutral spot, that in between. And like a lot of other stuff, like a lot of the mythical beings that we think about originally started as supernatural stuff. Like I'm looking at this list of supernatural beings, and it's got stuff like goblins and dwarves on here, dragons, centaurs, griffins, gnomes, and like stuff like goblins, gnomes, leprechauns, that stuff. Those began as spiritual presences. Was kind of like where their origin came from.
Yeah.
Like especially leprechauns. I know those come from like Nordic stuff, and they were generally just seen as trickster
More
spirits.
Celtic than Nordic.
Yeah,
There's a very
I
big difference.
I'm not super well versed in the difference between Celtic
I
and
was
Nordic,
gonna
so
say I'm not
yeah,
too familiar with Celtic stuff, but I was like, are leprechauns are from the Vikings?
no, no,
Celtic would make more sense because that's more of the Irish area. That's why they're
yeah,
so connected with that.
yeah. I just misspoke, and I'm
Mhm.
again, none of us are professionals on any of this. Some of us have experiences with some of it, but none
Especially
of us
not
are
on talking.
no, but none of but none of us are professionals.
Speaking? No, we're not
We're
professionals
not
at
English
speaking.
professors. We can't
As we
word.
discussed, we're not monetized, so we're not actually like this isn't a profession. If we get monetized, then we can actually say we're professionals at speaking.
That would be so cool to be able
Just
to
throwing it
say.
out there.
I don't
But
know.
I'm
I
a professional speaker.
monetizing means you're a professional.
If it's a profession, you become a professional. It's in the basic definition.
I guess.
Friendly reminder that I'm not a professional in English, so I'm not talking from an expertise here. Honestly, I think I was just thinking a lot of pressure though. Like being a professional speaker, then you gotta actually like speak.
And
Ugh.
then you got to speak good. Nobody wants to speak good.
Do not want everyone to expect me to speak good. I just want to speak like semi decent and have everyone be like, okay, and just roll with it. Ain't nobody got time for grammar.
Nope. Grammar dumb. I'm
Yes,
literally
I
the
am.
grammar police. I'm not allowed to say that. Sebastian, my
You're
friend
the grammar
Sebastian
police?
started yell. Yes, I'm the grammar police. Sebastian was yelling at me the other day about using a period after one word response to something in a text. I was like, I'm
That's
just the
not
grammar
allowed.
police. I I know. Apparently, according to language rules, it comes across as passive aggressive when you use a period. But like, I always capitalize my sentences and put punctuation, even if they're just one word responses.
Okay, well, no, I can see it being like an interpretation thing. So if you just send like no period or yes period,
Or run, period?
Run, run. Period is a little bit out there.
I see.
one period is a threat.
Yeah,
Exclamation
that's
point.
more than passive
Run.
aggressive. That's just a threat.
Run
I don't know if
exclamation
that's
point is a
passive
warning.
aggressive. That's
If it's a
just
period,
aggressive.
that's a threat.
Yeah.
That is just aggressive.
I might do that. Just send one of my friends the one out of the blue.
Send it to your brother. Just run, and then start
So you
charging
know,
down the
he would
stairs.
actually just run out of the house and not appear for like 5 hours.
That does sound
Like
like
he
him,
would commit to
actually.
that full on. He wouldn't even need context. He would just do it. I'm thinking like go on a college campus, wait for someone to be doing something. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, no, all right. I have ideas.
Oh no,
The
he
amount
has
of trolling.
ideas.
Oh my gosh, we should do an
Have you guys
episode
ever
on the
heard of?
greatest. We should do an episode on the greatest pranks.
Oh my
Oh
god.
god.
That's going in the
Where
that's
we
We're
going in
gonna
the
end up bringing up
brainstorm
things like
topics.
Jackass then.
Have
Huh?
y'all ever heard of like elimination? I think a lot of high schools will do
I
like
think we're
senior
getting a little too
elimination
off
type stuff.
topic here.
I need to get this idea out. I can't hold on to this for so long. It's
And put
real
it
quick,
in
I
the
promise.
section we have for that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Bruh.
Okay.
Crazy.
All right, I'm gonna disappear for a second while I type.
Okay. So where
Don't mind
were
me.
we last again? Leprechauns or some shit?
Something like that.
The
But
luck of the Irish.
the other thing I was looking at is one of the things that popped up on here were golems.
Golems.
Which
Golems. Really? They're supernatural?
yeah,
Speaking of Pokemon,
Also, wait, it's Google. It might not be correct.
yes, this is true. Apparently these are from Jewish folklore, um, which I was not aware of.
Oh. I
But like
mean,
what it got me thinking,
Egyptian lore also has some
yeah.
folklore and all that.
But what it got me thinking about was like alchemy and kind of like the idea of the different nature spirits and the different like
Full Metal Alchemist?
I
no,
didn't know alchemy had anything to do with the spirits.
what are the alchemical spirits? It's gnomes, um undines. Let's see if I can remember this off the top of my head. Salamanders and something is air.
Just salamanders.
Salamanders.
Yeah, the fire lizards. The fire lizards.
Yeah, a lot of people get those confused.
Salamanders and fire lizards?
No, salamander.
Salamanders in ye old folklore are basically similar to salamanders, but they're basically fire lizards. Like imagine a
Like Pokemon.
drake, which is a four-legged dragon. Make it on fire constantly, make it breathe fire, and make it lava.
So like Salazzle.
Wait,
It's
Yeah,
basically
pretty
Salander.
much.
your spirit.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm crazy.
Pokemon using folklore. What a crazy concept. No one's ever heard of that before.
Looked at their intense folklore and supernatural. They actually have a lot of supernatural stuff in Pokemon. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I've just been thinking a lot about alchemy and stuff because I find it very interesting and I'm planning on using it for a D&D thing. Not the standard alchemists, but
Technically,
like
As one
the
does.
actual medieval alchemy, like the theory of turning one material to another and
Like making a new class?
not necessarily making a new class, but like having I don't want to spoil it
Magic.
because it's for the
I see.
thing that I'll be using for us, but there will be a character that will be this
Fun.
new not class.
Mhm.
That I'm gonna homebrew gnomes, undines, salamanders, and stuff like that. Which I know that gnomes and salamanders already exist, but I'm gonna redo them to so that they're more true to their alchemical forms.
Huh.
Um, but it's
So
gonna be interesting.
shoot, what was I saying before this?
That's an excellent question.
It's
What was I
now
saying is you
it's a
kept
false
talking,
memory
Liam.
now.
What? I stopped paying attention. I'm doing research.
I was
You don't want to pay
started to say
attention.
something, then you need to continue talking.
Oh,
Shoot, I don't remember. But I do remember one thing. Red caps, similar to a mix between goblins, gnomes, they dye their caps red with blood. Interesting little fun fact.
Very fun.
So fun. Me and the boys dyeing our caps red with blood. Hardy har har.
nice.
It's a weekly occurrence.
Sylphs are the air spirits. Gnomes are for earth, undines are for water, salamanders are for fire, and sylphs are for air.
Oh, you're trying to remember sylphs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what were they? Air, fire, water, earth, and what?
Earth, water, fire, and air.
Long ago, the Fire Nation lived in
Oh.
Yeah.
harmony before the
Yeah,
attack.
pretty much.
Until the
I thought you
salamanders
said a fifth.
attacked.
I thought you said a fifth one for some reason.
No. The secret fifth
Some
element, that would
cultures
be
do
so
have a
cool.
fifth
Secret
element.
fifth element.
I'm gonna build a
Uh,
campaign
Some
around that
cultures do
now.
have one. Usually
The
it's called
secret fifth element.
the Aether. That's a
Gesundheit?
The
lovely
ones
name.
surprise.
So yeah, it's definitely a weird name. But Ether is technically a fifth element some cultures use.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? What does
Of
that
course,
even
there's
mean?
subtype of
Oh,
elements, but
what does that even mean?
subtypes.
No, what
No,
the
like
fifth
Ether.
whatever.
Ether.
Oh, I don't
Ether?
really
Yeah.
know it that well.
Uh, anything that doesn't fit the other four categories.
It's kind of like nothingness, kind of like antimatter if you think of it like that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
and there is actually just
It's like
another word for other,
everything
and
yet
it's the
nothing.
none of the above category.
It's E in every multiple choice question.
Yeah. Yeah.
None of the above.
Wait, who pulled that up? Do we just have that in Discord somewhere?
Yeah, it's in the
Is
stupid
it on the soundboard?
soundboard, Discord soundboard.
Yes.
Oh, I have soundboard
He's not
muted.
ready for that.
I gotta mute the soundboard. I don't want you guys filling my recording with sounds.
Well, there was an
I have
awkward
it
silence.
muted
I had to
all the
put
time.
crickets in there.
My soundboard was turned way down anyway. Because of Sebastian.
You tell me that for everyone else in the audience, I'm just gonna start like laughing out of nowhere, and no one's gonna know why. Because
No,
that's iconic, honestly.
they'll hear the little bit of crickets, but it's very faint.
Darn.
Yeah, no,
It's
you're
so
just
funny
gonna
if I
start
just
you're just gonna start laughing out of nowhere.
Oh, I remember it now. Dude, I
Yeah.
remember now what I was gonna say. Witchcraft is technically a form of supernatural. Because
Yes.
it's involved with
All right.
interacting with the supernatural.
This is the second time I've thought of Town of Salem. You know the video game one, the video game Town of Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Because the
Town of
medium and the
Salem.
witch are roles in that game.
It's interesting because,
Is that the
like,
mafia-like one?
Yeah,
Or,
it's
the
like
werewolf
Mafia.
mafia?
It's basically Mafia, but more complicated.
it's interesting because
Trust me, it's not more
witchcraft
complicated than the way I play mafia.
witchcraft takes on a couple of different can take on a couple of different meanings because it can be
Mhm.
it's often just the dealing with spirits, but like especially like the way that especially like
And
Christians
deities.
view it, yeah, it's often making a pact with the devil is the way that a lot of Christianity views it.
Which
And
unfortunately is quite wrong.
You know, actually, that's not really how. I mean, maybe a lot of modern Christians might see it that way, but like, that's not the primary sense of how Christianity sees witches. Because witchcraft is
The
definitely
solemn
like
witch trials beg to differ.
I was gonna say, yeah, especially
no,
during
because
like
I think I saw.
there is. Go ahead.
we keep cutting each other off.
I have
I
growth
saw this
on.
video. It was kind of funny. It was like how to prepare for time traveling back to the Middle Ages or something. And it was talking about like if you show them their phone, they're not like, gonna like immediately kill you for being a witch. They only really care like people kind of realize that they thought they like I don't know how to explain this. Like if they see this thing that looks magical, they might like they'll notice it, but they're not gonna like kill you for it unless like someone else like mysteriously disappears. Then they might blame you and
Or
scapegoat
get
you. But like
sick, or doesn't feel normal, or someone thinks you seduced their husband, wife, or whatever.
yeah, but like
They had a lot of
if
excuses.
if there's no reason, if no one feels like going out against you, then you're probably fine
Mhm.
if you have like a phone in the Middle Ages.
I think I mean, I read The Crucible back in high school, and I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
Oh
it's
god, the
not remotely
crucible.
like historically accurate, but it does kind of capture that idea of the trials were a lot of, first of all,
Stupid.
people who were a little misguided in their beliefs. Second of all, more importantly, a lot of people who were probably like straight up lying, and
Yeah.
most of the times it was just out of like petty spite instead of actual religious belief.
They had way too much
But
faith in
also,
like
it
a
is
couple people
right,
not
Yeah, they
lying.
trusted like the town liars and stuff.
and it wasn't even necessarily that like you trust them. A lot of it could have also been fear, where like they knew if they spoke out, they would just be accused of being in with the devil.
Yeah.
because of the climate of the thing.
Those who were smart enough to realize how dumb it was.
Yeah, they were like,
Yeah.
I want to say something, but I am smart enough to keep my mouth shut for the time being. So, yeah, the interesting thing about witchcraft in Christianity, though, is one thing I'm actually am kind of familiar with because I've read this passage a number of times for some reason. I think I just read through, I forget where it is. Somewhere in the Bible, there is an actual story where they interact with witches doing like witchcraft.
Yeah.
Because it's the king Saul, who was the first king of Israel. His prophet dies, and then he starts doing stuff, and God has already like set him apart to be like down to have his downfall and be taken over by David, who's like a famous character in the Bible. And so Paul is like trying to stay in power. He's trying to keep that strength, instead of like letting David take over. And this leads to him doing a lot of things. One of them being he goes and consults a witch who brings back Samuel, who is the prophet, from the dead. And so it's actually a really interesting story because they do showcase witchcraft doing things that like are pretty commonly associated with witchcraft. Um, and it's not so much that it is like a pact with the devil, because the devil in the Bible itself is actually like a very vague character that Christianity has like led to a lot of different interpretations of. So it is a lot more focused on like the evil spirits type stuff and like dealing with breaking the laws and order of nature, which kind of does that whole supernatural thing. It's not so much originally. There's obviously lots of precedent for Christians connecting witchcraft to the devil, but historically, there's also a lot of more connection to just breaking the laws of nature.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because these days we're breaking the laws of nature like a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, sort of a different kind of break. We haven't resurrected anyone.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, fair enough.
Not
Fair
yet,
enough.
at least.
Also,
Elon
wait,
Musk told
did you guys ever know Jesus was a witch? Actually,
Who?
he had a wand and shit
What?
too.
Who was?
Jesus had a wand.
I'm gonna need an explanation here.
He had a wand. What more do you need to know? He had a wand.
Does a
That doesn't-
wand immediately make
I was
one
gonna
a
say, a
witch?
wand does not
Where's
automatically
wait,
make you a witch. And also,
Sorry,
I don't.
where
I meant like he's a
where's the
magic
wand?
user. He is a wand. There's literal imagery, and in the Bible is mentioned a wand.
He had levels in cleric.
Nah,
I'm
wizard.
trying to hang on. I'm gonna Google this because I don't remember them ever mentioning any stick. I mean, like,
He's got a stick.
Well, the thing is,
I
he
mean,
did a lot of traveling. I would imagine he would have like a staff.
Yeah.
It wasn't a staff. It was just a stick. I guess
And
like maybe a
does
wand-sized stick.
and how does
I
that
don't.
mean? How does that
You're a wizard, Jesus.
how does that make him a
don't-
witch
Dun,
and or wizard?
dun.
You're a wizard. Jeez, because he used it
There's
for
not actually any
magic.
This is the
biblical
wizard from
reference.
Minecraft.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reference in the Bible to having a wand. I'm fairly confident.
No, I think I would have heard
Yeah,
of
because
that
I've
too.
done quick research
Here, let me.
and just yeah.
This one I'm gonna send right now. God dang it! Why is it not? 1 second.
I think I trust the Bible more than whatever website you're about
This
to
is from the Bible.
Bible does not have pictures,
Okay.
Cameron.
Like it's art based on the Bible.
Okay, he has a stick, but what is that? Doesn't mean anything. He just has it.
That's like honestly, that looks unfinished. Like he's just waving a vague thing.
I
God,
don't
not the beating
understand how this
stick.
means anything.
It's definitely not referenced in the Bible. So someone just kind of like you did some sort of interpretation, which maybe they actually saw him and did the thing. I don't know,
I
but
don't know about that one though.
that's a little. And
So
I will also point out a clarification that Jesus didn't do magic. He did like miracles, which were
That sounds like a
like,
lot like magic.
well, okay, it's magic from a certain understanding, but like there is a difference between
Hmm,
magic and miracles because in the Bible and in Christianity, it's just using God's power, which is just beyond our understanding. It's like
I guess.
it's as if
yeah,
he's in a dimension outside of us and has like other, like he created the world, and so he has this like power over it and authority over it because he is a super powerful being. It's not exactly the same as what we conventionally think of as magic. It can be defined as magic, just not in the same sense.
I see.
I would say that often magic, at least from a witchcraft point of view, is powers obtained from spirits that have some
Mhm.
level of power. Um,
Or deities.
or yes, or deities if you choose to believe that. But like, um, it's just I guess a comparison could be made, but again, at the same time, I think it's different when it's because Jesus was essentially the power that was using the magic, not somebody using
Mhm.
somebody else's magic.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Not
like
magic,
Technically,
but
divine,
like
technically, he was using magic from God. His
but he is
father.
also God, so he's
he
like
is
drawing it
God.
from
So
himself.
yeah,
Mm. So,
That
like,
that part's whole
kind of like a
own
war.
thing.
Was Jesus a warlock?
he was
No,
his own patron. He was his own
no.
patron.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's too late for this.
Rocking your worldview.
I wouldn't say that, but it's
No, I
maybe my
was mostly joking.
my brain cells more like they're
Rocking
getting
your
a good
brain
jostle.
cells. That would be a really interesting character concept. Is like, uh, some super powerful ASMR that is literally just his own deity. Oh, an ASMR warlock that's
No,
just
you're
his own
actually not.
deity.
I mean, a part of I don't
And he could have.
was going over a little blasphemy line, but the character idea of like some sort of D&D deity who decided that he wanted to like experience what the people on Earth were going through and be like, you know what, I'm gonna forego my like supernatural powers and just become an adventurer in this world. That is a fun concept. I
D&D
won't lie.
Jesus. Hell yeah.
Say D&D deity 5 times fast.
D&D deity. That's my new favorite
You start
term.
saying D&D over time.
D&D
D&D
deity,
deity,
D&D
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 deity,
deity.
D&D deity, D&D deity, D&D
Start
deity,
rapping.
D&D
Freestyle, let's
deity,
go.
D&D
No,
deity.
I
Fair enough.
won't.
The people will be sad, but they'll understand. Sorry, audience.
I can't come
No
up with that
freestyling tonight.
on the spot.
What
No
are you not
real.
coming up with on the
I wish I
spot?
could freestyle so bad.
There's this improv game called Kick It where you have to where randomly the leader of the game will tell a certain person in the scene to sing like to kick it about whatever is going on, and it will start music will start playing and you have to make up words on the spot.
Oh,
I am
I
horrible
love
at it.
improv. I can't like improv, rhyme, poetry, fast paced like improving scenes and stuff. That songs or what? Ooh, puts me on edge.
Yeah, the music ones are always the hardest. I refuse to do.
So real.
Yes.
Maybe I should start doing it. That's off topic. Well,
If we want to keep being off topic, we could discuss the bullshit that Caden pulled at D&D today with the no laughing rule.
oh my god.
I turned into the Joker and a
Is
hyena
there a
and grass
spirit
some
that will
point.
damage you if you? Is there a spirit that targets laughter in real
There
life?
is.
What?
It attacks the funny bone.
They put it in
More
Phasmophobia.
of it's attracted to the laughter. Children will take them.
That feeling when you hit your funny bone is actually just a spirit.
Whoa.
There is stuff that does the like laughter, joy, other things.
Okay, no, but the funny bone is actually like so weird. Can we just address the fact, like, moment
It's
of
not even a
appreciation
bone,
for
it's a
how bizarre
nerve.
that is?
It is a nerve.
Exactly. Why do we call it a bone?
Also,
The
speaking of
nerve of
nerves,
those people.
there's it's extremely rare to hit, but there's a nerve cluster, and what you do is called nerve cluster punch. Basically, temporarily paralyzes your opponent.
That's
Wait, is that a
crazy.
real thing?
Yeah,
I
but it's
think
like
that
a
was just
so.
1
like
in
a
1,000 chance because you can never find it.
I thought that was just like a fiction fighting thing for like
I mean, if you
Vulcans
punch
and
anywhere hard enough,
But no, it's like a
stuff.
specific
Right.
cluster. It's quite
yeah.
interesting.
That's freaky.
We've officially managed to drag this episode out over an hour.
Wow.
We're
Some
so
would
good
argue
at
that the
this.
episode had ended half an hour ago. And
We're
You know
good
we've
what?
at
just
being
been
off
rambling.
topic.
We're so
And
good at
believe
this,
it or not, I've
guys.
been playing Pokemon almost the entire time.
You've been
And
playing
paying
Pokemon this
attention.
I believe you.
Yeah,
No.
I'm currently beating up children.
God.
I've been putting
For
together
their
a
Oh
pocket
jigsaw
money.
no.
puzzle of
They're
the
giving me a
sunset.
lot of money.
Or sorry,
Why?
sunrise. It's a Ukrainian sunrise puzzle.
Huh?
I've been working on a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh dear
Yeah.
God, he is shocked. Super effective, no.
We really might want to end this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
So
like
about-
going bad.
I'm just playing Pokemon the whole time.
I think
Currently, my
if
owl
we go on
is
for
like
5 more
low.
minutes, all our brains will shatter and we will all start playing video games or Bopple Battle or something.
Not Bopple Battle.
So about the Pokemon spirit connection that we mentioned earlier.
There's the unknown. There's Curse Tomb.
I was gonna say,
There's
Spiritomb is
Pokemon
the
that
first one
drag
that
people
comes to
off to the
mind.
underworld.
Yeah,
That
Drifloon.
is
The Pokedex entries are freaky.
I'm
They're
not
wild.
well versed in Pokemon. But there's
We
some
have to do a
crazy
we have to do a
things.
Pokemon episode at some point. I think we
Just
already discussed
entire-
this.
You've mentioned it so many times. Like,
Have we?
seriously.
Have we?
I'll
feel
put
like-
it in
I think this has
topics.
been a number. I mean, maybe I just noticed it more because I actually know Pokemon. But I feel like
I
we
do
have
too. I'm
definitely
just deaf, blind, dumb,
the amount of times that it hasn't been the theme.
mute.
It's like a weirdly proportionate.
Just like false memories.
Whoa.
We almost managed to
didn't
go an
talk about
entire
okay.
episode.
Okay. Before we go on false memories, let's stop the recording.
Wait, we're still recording. I thought we stopped. Oh,
Shoot, I'm gonna end.
it's an
Oh
intro
no.
already.
Thank you for watching Off Topic. The next sacrifice will be Cosmo. Good luck.
No.
His
No.
odds be ever in your favor.
I won't be here next Monday.
Yeah.
So,
Fucking hell. It's not.
So-
We only have to do it on Monday. We can do it other days.
well, I'm not gonna be back till Wednesday. No, I'm not gonna be back till the 4th of July.
Well, fuck.
All right, it's gonna be
Well,
surprise hosts next week. We'll figure it out, guys.
We'll
And
figure
the
it
one
out.
after will be Cosmo.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yay.
I think Isaac's probably gonna wind up hosting next week, just because I think it's his turn to host anyway.
Do we want to
I don't
set
know.
a
We
regular
don't keep
schedule
track
for
of
hosting
things and
instead of
stuff.
choosing?
Skipping Isaac like that.
I've been gone for 2 episodes.
That's
That's
true.
a good point.
Just whoever feels like the right vibe to host, we'll just figure it out.
We'll figure it out. All right, Isaac,
But
you want to do the
that's-
outro?
Oh shoot! Wait. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, not sure time. I need to think of something creative. Or not. I probably should just avoid creative at this point. That's a dangerous route to go at 10:23 at night. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to us discuss a whole lot of things, kind of, sort of, vaguely relating to supernatural experiences. Tune in next week to hear us talk about something along with a whole lot of other unrelated things. We'll catch you in the
Whoa.
next episode. Peace out.